coffee break. The first speaker is Mr. Grazia Siliato. You have the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, in my capacity as a delegate for Siena for Italy, I wish to convey the greetings and blessing by Cardinal Ratzinger, and let me convey also the greetings and in particular blessing on the part of Cardinal Rini. The texts of their papers which were sent to me by them will be read out tomorrow morning here. Furthermore, let me convey the greetings which we hold dear of Professor Barberis, who is president of the Holy Shroud Center from Turin. He wanted to attend the symposium. He called me. Unfortunately, he couldn't attend the symposium, so he is here with us in spirit. Let us hope that this be the beginning of a profitable cooperation in this topic.
Faut le dire en français, ils n'ont pas traduit. Vous avez traduit?
On a compris.
Oui, mais moi j'ai pas compris.
Nous
sommes nombreux à pas avoir compris.
Alors, nous avons eu un salut particulier, une bénédiction du cardinal Ratzinger. Nous avons eu les saluts de bénédiction du cardinal Ruini. Et le texte de leur communication sera présenté demain matin au Congrès. Encore, nous avons la salutation très amicale du professeur Barberis du Centro di Sintonologia de Turin, lequel est navré de ne pas pouvoir participer, mais il nous dit qu'il participe à cette manifestation
She's repeating what she said in Italian.
historique, soit le commencement d'une collaboration générale et amicale parmi tous les scientifiques, les historiens, les archéologues qui s'occupent du grand problème du suaire de Turin.
To the archaeologists, to the historian, to the doctor and to the scientist, the Holy Shroud of Turin reveals a far more complex structure than outsiders think. For the scientific framework within which the Holy Shroud is placed, it is unparalleled, unmatched in no church, in no collection of the world whatsoever. Its intrinsic uniqueness is scientifically staggering and precious. Likewise, it is also important the problem related to its conservation. I won't dwell upon techniques. This international forum makes the conservation problem urgent and visible to all. First of all, it is a problem of information. So first of all, let us visualize how the Holy Shroud is at present kept. The Chambéry Center destroyed it, though part, so the imprint area was kept intact. Some parts were burnt, other and the destroyed areas were linked by triangular parts. This is placed on a fabric, on a cloth. It is related by thousands of points, as we can see in this diagram. The colorist from Chambéry resewed this cloth candlelit with golden needles. Furthermore, the shroud is protected, if I may use this expression, by an extra pink. It is a fabric. It is a artificially painted fabric made of silk. We should verify the consequences of the. We should check this with the vegetable fabric of linen. The shroud is being rolled up together with its lining system, as we can see in this diagram. It is rolled up around a long wooden cylinder. Then it is being tucked in, closed in the box. Now in this process, in this rolling process, the shroud tissue fabric is in the internal part. Now the two fabrics go hand in hand thanks to a particular system. Their thickness is such that the curve is constantly lower than the lining one. Now this phenomenon repeats itself for along the 4 meters and 36 centimeters of the shroud. The fabric is soft, and this fabric reacts to this compression and dragging process, and certain folds are being formed. These are uneven, irregular folds, and the latter depends both on the type of sewing and also depends on the length of the fabric over the centuries. In the past, no attention was paid to these folds, though apparently Clotilde of Savoy ironed the rims of the shroud. In the beautiful photographs made by Müller, which captured the very low density of the imprint, these folds sort of disappear. As we can see, these folds pass across the blunted hair as a slight pencil sign. Strangely enough, the most ancient photographs lit by bare light provide best contrast. 1848, this is a photograph by Pierre. Lightning, primitive and bare lighting. The image is very contrasted. Two folds attach themselves in the forehead, and in the lower part an horizontal fold and a second one, which is very which is convergent with respect to the second. On the negative, of the folds pass across the face as white slashes. So here we have autochromatic plate, and the folds are slightly staggered at different distances. The first on the forefront, which is detached from the second one. In the lower part, the fold is almost horizontal and is matched with another one, a small one in the center. Then there are two extra folds which go across the throat. This is the most evident destruction, and notice the fold which is striking. 1969. This is Judy Cordelia's photograph. The fold on the eyelash has extended itself, and the position taken by the fold on the is different. A new fold starts from the right hand side and goes horizontally towards the center of the cheek. 1973. This is a document which this is a photograph made by Giulio Ricci. The difficult exposure, the condition of exposures show two long horizontal folds under the hands, but the destruction of this area can be seen in the plate of 1978. The photography is Antipia. The folds intercross and across the whole fabric. In the left hand side there are some creases. This is an enlargement of the area of the wounded wrist. The lower fold go along the higher fold is right in the center of the blood. Then there is another fold which cuts across the bleeding on the forearm. This is the photographer is Henry. The same coming together of folds can be seen along the rim of the fabric of the cloth in the area in the feet. The blood rows of the hand, foot. Here folds are all transversal, and these folds have an impact on the area where the blood is condensed. The photography is Henry. This is less clear, but nevertheless the emotional impact is much stronger. Wound of the side and on the right hand side the stitches of 1934. Three small but deep folds go across
the serum effusion and remove the blood from its anchoring to the cloth. All these would bear consequences. During 3 days in October 1978, the scientist Timidi performed a series of surveys, which is an unique case in the history of archaeology. In the long studies of the following months, an event took place which filled everybody with wonder and woe. Never before then macro and micro photographs and color photographs had been taken of the shroud linen. Also in the best conditions, the micro photograph involves big problems, but in that case the object was very thin and foldable cloth, and this was done in a Turin building which vibrated at any step. The focus depth is 1 millimeter, and with this modest magnification every movement is made 20 times larger, is magnified 20 times. So a lot of patience was necessary. This is a photograph of 20 magnification, and here we can see how the fresh blood had clotted. It had clotted among the inner threads of the fabric, amongst the fibrils. And the threads had been covered and cemented. And so it had remained for centuries, but the outermost part of the threads was strangely uncovered and almost devoid of blood. Let's see this phenomenon in an enlarged detail. The research by John Eller and Alan Adler led to a surprising discovery. The microchemical surveys showed that in all points of the shroud, and also there where no blood stains nor the body imprint existed, reddish particles, fragmented particles were scattered, which were invisible to the naked eye. It was blood. So through the folding and rolling which had taken place during centuries, these particles of blood, these ascaras, had detached from the stains, and these fragments had penetrated everywhere. So the confirmation of this mechanism was finding microscopic fragments of blood also in the mendings made in 1534. Here we have a famous microphotograph by John Eller and Alan Adler. This shows us, with terrible evidence, a splinter of dried up blood. It is a tubular-shaped replica of the shape of the linen fibrils. What does it mean? Let us see in detail the historical image of this blood, which is still fresh a few hours after the torture, and which had penetrated through the shroud. It had then dried up, taken the shape of the fibril it enclosed. During the centuries, the rolling up and folding of the tissue caused it to fragment, and due to the very small dimensions of these fragments, this phenomenon was repeated thousands of times. So we wonder how much blood material was detached, was removed, and was dispersed through the centuries, and how much more runs the risk of being fragmented and to fall down, to be lost. This detail shows us the substantial quantity of blood which is enclosed and anchored in the spaces among the threads, and how little blood is present on the outer surface of the thread, which is more vulnerable to folding and friction. An approximate calculation allows us to evaluate that at least 40% of the blood material which had been absorbed by the shroud originally now is removed, has fallen, and now it is lost forever. Experts are going to look for the proper solutions in order to save this object, to preserve it from further catastrophes. So the problem is deeply felt by Cardinal Saldarini especially. We just wanted to show you these images in all the evidence, since We own many frescoes by Giotto and many pictures, many paintings by Caravaggio and Rubens, but unfortunately we own just one shroud which cannot be imitated or repeated.